music before you? Drum roll. 5, 4. Yeah. Like a production.
This conference will now be recorded.
We'll start this meeting out with the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Marion County Commission meeting, May 24th, 12:30 p.m. And we're gonna look for some public comments. I have some public in the meeting today. Do I have any online first?
There are no comments
Okay.
on the chat, and yeah, there's no one unmuted for public comment.
Okay. Do I have any public comments in the room? Your choice.
My
Nick?
choice?
Your choice, Nick Krause.
I was just curious to see what has changed since last week. Are we planning on having some sort of a work session to figure out how to better take care of our roads?
We have got, if you're referring to what was out there that we talked about last week.
Or lack of what should be out there, I guess.
Okay, the lack of what's out there. No, we have not had no meeting yet, Nick.
Okay. Well, I'm getting I had another person this weekend that said, man, I thought my roads were bad, but your road is horrendous.
Okay.
And so, if the situation's getting better from the comments I'm getting around the county, then my road should be at the top of the list. Otherwise, I don't think the situation's getting better. So, these roads are going backwards in a hurry, in my opinion. Especially, it's like east of 77 highway's been forgotten. You know, there's not enough people out there to complain, and I think that, and our blade man is the one that gets pulled off to do all the road rebuilds, so that's my biggest concern. We're to the point of the year that we're not gonna see anything, and our roads aren't in a shape for that, so.
Best we can do is when Bryce gets up here, just let him know he was here and see if he can address, take a look at the road. And
I put 4 loads on it myself last week, so.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
we were supposed to have a work session,
Yeah.
but there was
We had a death in the family.
Death in the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was about a month ago, I think.
yes.
Okay.
But since last week, we have not had that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I left, I didn't know what you guys talked about
Just thought I'd
afterwards.
air that one out.
That's fine. I know you usually have those a couple times a year, don't you?
Yes.
I think trying to have it a little more frequently.
So
We should try to have one in the next couple of weeks if we can.
we'll get back with him and ask him what's going on and see if we can go ahead and get one scheduled up.
I will tell you, I put a couple different kinds on. The worst hole I put 2-inch clean on. And then south of my house, I thought, well, that was a little bit big. South of my house, I put 2-inch road rock on, and that was disgusting. It was full of fines. That didn't. These roads that are really bad, we don't need to be hauling more fines out on them. We need to be putting clean rock on them, in my opinion.
How much, in front of your place, Nick, how much heavy traffic besides what you do? Is there?
Quite a bit since they put the roundabout in. People can't seem to figure out how to go through a roundabout, and that's when about once a month we've started having cars getting stuck on the road south of my house because it redirects them around.
Huh.
I wish the county would put up, I asked Jesse about that, if the county could put up a no outlet sign or a
No through road or something?
no through road or something. He said, well, legally you can't if it's a through road, is what he told me, but something to keep people from tearing up these roads. It'd be on my side, they're both rocked the other way, so everybody that misses their turn, they get stuck on 210th, either south of my house or off of the highway,
Wow.
going both ways, trying to.
They missed 150, you mean?
They miss their turn in the roundabout, and then before they realize it, they're guidance will redirect them and takes them to the
Take a
next
right.
intersection.
Just some guidance.
And so they're trying to go around the section and get stuck
Huh.
when it's wet, so,
Didn't realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, cause that.
But
GPS
220th
don't
gets the
know-
most heavy traffic. There's a lot of
GPS
semi-traffic.
don't know whether it's dirt road or rock road,
Yeah.
yes, so they just see a road probably.
Sometimes it does, but you won't always alert them.
Yeah,
Just keep saying, turn around quick, you know.
Yeah.
Go turn right now.
yeah, so.
We'll pass the word on when Bryce gets up here, Nick. Thank you for coming in and concern.
He's on the agenda for one, if you wanna hang
Yeah.
around.
Okay, I might.
Okay. No more publics in the building. The agenda approval, and I think I've got to add an executive session for personnel. Tina, is that right?
Yes, for personal performance.
Actually, 2 of them.
Okay. We're gonna have two of them.
Yeah, the one that Tina requested, and I think it's gonna be useful for us to have about a 5-minute one as well,
Okay.
prior to the 220.
Okay. Alrighty. In between 2 and 2:20, we'll have it for personnel performance. Correct?
Mhm.
Okay. And Tina, where's a good place to put yours in at?
Wherever we have time, at the end would be fine.
Okay, maybe in between 2:20 and 3. If not, well, I'm gonna try to keep it the 3 o'clock meeting right on time, because that's gonna be a executive session online with our attorney from K-Camp. The way I understand it, is that correct? Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll try that for you, Tina.
Okay, great.
Bradford. That's 2, and then the third one will be probably up here with Park the Lake. That's already there, we just have the session. Okay, with those 3 amendments to the agenda, I'd make a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Agenda, let's see, administrative business, Tina, go ahead. Take off.
Okay. In your packet, you do have some monthly revenue reports from some of the departments. Oh, there's one upside down, sorry about that. 2, never mind.
Something there.
Couple of them upside down.
Yeah.
I wanted to just give you an update. I did get a phone call from the McPherson Area Solid Waste, and they are not able to pick up trash in Marion County. They did discuss it, and it's not something, it would complicate things too much for them, so they have said no. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an update on that.
Did they share with you that they already pick up trash in Marine County?
No.
They do.
Well, they don't wanna ruin it for whoever's getting that
Well, I
service.
talked to the guy too, and he said, well, we don't consider that Marion County because it was grandfathered in years ago.
Oh, okay.
So they go by several people that need a trash pickup and pick up somebody, which just makes no sense.
Well, if you wanna try to be scheduled on the agenda, or, you know, discuss it further, we can look into that.
Well, I haven't
but-
talked to the residents out there for a couple months to see what they're doing.
Okay.
They've got service. It's the same company, but they left Salina, and
Okay.
they're set up.
Okay, I have the minutes of May 17th.
Motion to approve.
Has everybody had a chance to review? Okay, have a motion by Jonah. Do I hear a second? Dave, you hear a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay. I also have the minutes of the May 19th meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
on the table today, you have bids for copy paper. Do you all see that? Should be under your agenda. So this is for 100 cases of copy paper for the courthouse, and we had 2 bids submitted, one from Baker Brothers Printing in Hillsborough, and this is for 100 cases, and the total amount is $3,615. And then we had one from Office Plus of Kansas, which is located in Wichita, and their bid is $3,325.
Do I hear a motion?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Dave.
Is Office Plus willing to just bring 5 cases at a time?
Yeah, we've used them before.
Okay.
They will all, that's part of the specification that.
I knew it was, but I didn't know.
Yes,
That's a 120-mile round trip.
right, but they do business in the area,
Okay.
so they are willing to do that.
I'm gonna say since Baker Brothers is within 10% on their local, I'll make a motion to approve Baker Brothers.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gearing, second by Commissioner Becker. Did we ever make a policy for 10%?
I just acknowledged it.
You just acknowledged, okay.
We've always done that.
Yeah.
Based on if we haven't bid out locally.
But it's gotta be within reason.
We do have it within our purchasing policy to purchase local when we can, so.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5 votes. Baker Brothers at $3,615, and Office Plus at $3,325.
Okay, in your packet, you had information from North Central Kansas Library. They need a candidate to fill a position that's becoming vacant on their board. They are recommending Ginger Becker for the appointments.
I would make that motion to nominate Ginger Becker.
Have a motion by Commissioner Crowfoot, second by Commissioner Bueller down there. Go with Ginger Becker. My only question to this is it public notice first? I mean, I don't know how Ginger got a hold of it, whether she was.
Somebody called her.
Oh.
From North Central.
Okay.
Yeah, usually there's a recommendation made to
Okay.
to them, and then it's not like, I don't think it's like something that they go out and seek
Okay.
candidates for broadly.
Okay, I just asking because there is sometimes questions come up how things happen, and I want to be able to more or less be able to tell somebody if they ask me that question. So.
Okay, and you do have some information in there about how the board is composed and what the duties and
Yes.
responsibilities, et
Yes.
cetera, are, and the qualifications. So, and it would be for a 4-year term.
Okay. I have a motion to approve Ginger Becker. Her application was in our packet. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
No,
One
No,
abstention.
one abstention.
I abstain.
Okay.
No, I'd like to vote.
4 to 1.
And Commissioner Crowfoot, can I just clarify your motion? You said to nominate, but was your motion actually to appoint?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. In your packet, I included the RFP that we sent out for the exterior repairs to the courthouse, and we did receive 2 bids back. I don't know if you all had a chance to review those in depth.
Not in depth, but yeah. There's a lot of names.
So the one company, the one real concern we have is the north stairs. This would be our highest priority area right now. And pardon me?
Item 1.
Yes, and the first company bid repairing that, as you know, we had discussed. The other company contacted me and they said that they would recommend just taking them out and putting them back in. And so that's the way they bid it, because they didn't agree about just repairing. So that's the difference on those two. So that would be something for you to consider. And you don't have to award anything today, but we do need to try to get at least those north stairs taken care of as soon as possible.
I didn't catch it, was there any area there that said how quickly they could begin?
Yes. Let's go back.
You better have got done by fall.
That's a real good point, Kent, because we don't want them working on them in the winter time.
Well, it's just gonna get a lot worse during the winter.
Yeah.
It may actually just say how long they expect it to take.
I think I've seen that for completion.
Right.
Weeks.
Let's see. This is probably something that needs to be started this summer.
Let me see.
Is there a possibility of splitting off with one company?
Yes. The second contractor gave a reduction if you went with the total bid package, but each item is bid individually, so you could select either contractor for any of the work, or you could refuse any and all bids. You've got
So if I'm
flexibility.
catching this right, MCR's bid for item 1 was 14,132.
Yes.
MTS, and that was just for repair. MTS for removal and repairs 37.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I'm reading that right.
You are. Sorry, I'm not really following it in the packet, but, so people on the electronic meeting are probably getting dizzy right now.
Has there ever been repairs done on those before?
Not extensively since I've been here, so I can't speak to whether it's ever been repaired.
Just wonder if you're gonna get a repair of the last 5 years, or a total redone that's gonna last 40.
And replacing it, they cut them back with the stone and everything, so it'll look the same.
Yes, on the outside. On the inside, what they're
It'd be
planning,
new cement.
right, they're not planning to put stone on that inside,
Right.
No need to.
so.
I think I did read through it, if everybody else needs more time. I don't know, but I would probably make the motion to go ahead with items 1 and 2 as of now with MCR.
What was item 2, just to clarify?
Item 2, I believe, is the west stairs.
West,
Okay, so it'd be both stairs.
both steps.
And the 3 and 4 was the tucking mortar
And
and.
the exterior
A lot more
plan.
in depth.
Right,
Right.
right.
Cleaning and all that.
I think this would be a good start to
Yep.
preserving some of the parts that are gonna get worse if we don't do something.
To go with MCR. I have a motion on the floor to go with MCR for 1 and 2 items, which is stairways to the courthouse, the north
Second
and the
the
west.
motion.
Do I hear a second? Dave Mueller, seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope, I vote.
So, Brad, do they need to take action on the other 2 items, like if they're not gonna move forward right now, either table or
Yeah,
to,
in some way to
or
address
to,
them.
Make a motion that items 3 and 4 go under further review.
I'll second.
Do you want to specify a date on that, or just an indefinite time frame?
It's 20 days, 90 days.
I just wonder what time is best to get the vote done, so decide to pull the trigger.
Pull it in September and.
Maybe you ought to do it 60 days, because at that point, they would probably be here working, maybe.
or it could be something that you decide to consider at budget time and schedule for next spring in the
That
new
sounds-
budget year.
Until next one.
I mean, I don't know what the right time frame is either, but.
Talking about time frame, we didn't go ahead and include that in the motion up here for 1 and 2. What if they're not gonna come till December?
I think we need this. You made the motion, so if you want to amend it, I'll let you.
I guess I'll amend the motion to have work
addition to your motion? To addendum to the motion to have the work start within 60 days. Do I hear a second for that part?
I'll second.
Second, by Kent Becker. All those in favor of that, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Dave? Mueller?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0.
Okay, but you still have an open motion and second on the
Yep.
floor for the other items under review.
Yep. And I have a second by Kent Becker on that one.
Yeah.
For how many days? 60 or 90?
60.
60 days. Okay, have a motion on the floor by Joe McGarring to table the rest of the addendums for 60 days. Second by Kent Becker. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay, thank you. You had asked us to get pricing for a new flagpole. And,
These all aluminum flagpoles?
Yes.
Okay. So those are-
Stainless?
Or stainless or
I
aluminum?
believe they're aluminum.
If anybody wants to see the difference between a 30 and a 40, you can look at the jailhouse over here, and the smaller one's a 30 and the taller one's a 40.
It doesn't look that much different.
There's 5 foot difference because you get 5 foot of bury on a 40-foot pole. It's going to get 35 of height. 30 pole is going to get 25 of height. So you got 5 foot of bury over there.
What's it cost to upkeep this pole? Just for.
I don't think there would be much cost of upkeep.
Didn't you
No.
say
We've
they had
never
to
done
replace
any.
the rope on?
Oh, the
Yeah.
current one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Just
think you're
for-
talking about current. I will tell you, I visited with Rob just a little bit before I come here to decide. And that's getting close to 10 years old, and they've never done nothing to either one of those two.
Sometimes, but don't retouch on that while we're talking about this, and make a decision, then
Okay.
fill in 20 people.
Sorry about that, I didn't pull that, but I can try to look for it real quick. So we have that repainted every few years, and it's just whenever the gentleman is in town, because he's from Washington, and so he does ours when he's in town. And then, of course, right now, we need repairs because the rope is off of the flagpole right now, so,
Repairs and painting, for some reason, about $2,000 sticks out of my head.
well, that could be, let's see.
Would it be better to go with the shorter one because of all the trees out there rather than the long one?
Could be, just depends on where you place it, I think, Kent. I mean,
Just thinking if you put it up there in the trees.
Well, the time that we generally have any issues with the flag getting like close to the trees is only when it's at half mast right now.
Well, I'm just
If
thinking,
it's-
you know, I'm
if
just
it-
thinking of it as 40 foot and it's up there in the tree canopy, I mean, from sight vision, but maybe that's not an issue.
I think if you lower it, it's gonna be more in the trees than it is
Okay,
now,
okay.
is what I'm trying
Alright.
to say. But we could move it to a different location. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
saying we have to go back in the same space, I guess, so.
and that has even been talked about too, but there is a lights out there for that. Is there one of those lights?
Yes.
Shine up on it.
Yes, so that's sort of, we went back to that. Any conversation or discussion with the board on what Kent just brought up, height?
And we bid, I think, 40 and 45, that the one gentleman said 30 would be big enough, so.
That was the reason I went over there to see what those were, just so I could tell everybody.
Yeah.
We don't fly a huge flag. I mean, that, the only reason you need a taller pole, if you had a great big oversized flag.
Well, I think that in the past, it was a really tall pole because the building is so large.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's, over here, when we built the jail, we started off with a 20-footer, and it didn't even hardly reach the top of the building, at the time you had 5 foot of bury.
Yeah.
So then we sat back and got 2 poles for the state and the American flag, and that's how you ended up with what you have over there, and they're both above the top of the building by 7 or 8, maybe 10 foot. So, beside this building, I don't, you know,
We're not gonna get the top of this building.
no.
Yeah.
But even at one time, maybe if you didn't like the 30, try the 31st, and maybe then come back with the 40 beside it too. I don't know, that might be later on. I don't know, do we don't fly the state flag? Do we?
Yes, we
Yeah.
fly the
Both of them?
American above and the state below.
And state below, too.
Okay, there's the guy that paints the
No.
flagpole. Let's see.
I don't know if the poles, I guess they are reckoned. We can't have two off of them.
We paid, it looks like we've been doing it about every 3 years, and this last time we paid $528 to have the painting done.
No, I've been here at least 5 or 6 times you've been here. And 4 or 5 times anyway. It's up to the board, I mean, what you want to present. Do I hear any final?
I guess you're still talking about the height.
Yeah.
Makes me no difference. What, the one out there now is 40?
It's 44 feet tall from the ground up. Because that's what he charges to paint by the foot, so.
Is this one required to be painted every once in a while? This one?
Stainless.
Eliminate the painting.
The rope deal was something that really surprised me a while ago, that you don't have to worry, I mean, they have to replace theirs in 10 years.
They have external?
No.
No, internal.
And all these that we bid are internal.
Internal.
With a wire? Or with?
There's both. So there's one where you can get just the wire pulley, which that's a separate, she you know, she explained those on your bid sheet. So if it's rope with the internal halyards, it's basically says rope, and then she's got the prices for wire if they quoted wire.
I haven't had no experience with these wire. I don't know, that's what I was just wondering, I don't know. I do not know that, I'm negligent on that.
And we can always put this back on for another day if you want more information.
Is Heartland the only one that's bid install included in the price? I've seen some of them say flagpole only, so I was just wondering.
Right. Kansas Flagpole, we didn't have the installation, so that was the pole only. Heartland includes installation, and Banner it does not. It was the only 3. So yes, Heartland is the only one, I think. Maybe I've missed one here. Yeah, those are the only 3 that actually bid, so.
Wire pulley must be a better deal. I didn't know that.
They can broke, degrade.
Yeah.
Wire will take a lifetime to degrade.
Even with our regular rope that we had out there, they last a long, it lasted a long time, and it was just kind of rigged because when they cut the flagpole off when it bent before, it was just kind of a home job of
Yeah.
putting it up there, so. and it-
What about the 40-foot pole from Heartland sign?
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we purchase the 40-foot pole for $7,516.90 from Heartland sign.
Okay.
And do we need to include, the removal was $1,000? Was it $7,000 total price?
No, the removal would be.
In the 7,000?
Right, and then the This one, to be able to put the flags up, there would be that additional 950, so you would actually have to include that. So it's 7,516.90 plus the 950, and then if we take it out ourselves, we save that 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Or, you know, or if we want them to do it, then we pay that 1,000 more.
It doesn't identify which kind of pole they're using, the wire or the rope. As far as bidding apples to apples, I just,
It says two-piece internal.
Okay, we can
Let's just-
flesh that out a little bit more.
I guess I would talk my motion till we get more information.
Let's do that, and I guess the question right now is to see whether this Heartland matches on internal wire or rope internally. That's a question, Jonah, that you was asking? Yeah. And maybe if we come back with that information, is that any more research that we need to do before we make a final decision on that?
there's one of them in here that said something about using a local contractor.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was,
That one stuck out to me if I
that was Banner Marketing.
knew which one.
Surely we could use Road and Bridge to remove the old flagpole. $1,000.
Keep them on the road.
Shouldn't take more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Take a chain to somebody.
Did you have a question, Jonah, or did?
Yeah, I'd like to know what the Banner marketing group, who they would use for.
They don't know. They would, he basically said if we decide, then they'll get somebody local to put it in.
Then that leaves too much open as far as what that cost would be.
It's been kind of an adventure working with this project and these different companies.
You wouldn't think it would be, but it is.
It's not, you think it's simple, it's not.
There's not a lot of flagpoles put up every day.
No, very true.
I'd like to know what their final dollar is on labor included to install.
How about a request for that then? Can we have a request for that, Tina? Try to see if they'll give it to us by next week?
Sure.
That way,
No.
Sure.
they wanted to quote it, and they wanted to be solid on who they're using. At least
Right.
they're committed to a dollar amount.
Sounds,
I'm not gonna
sounds
say that.
reasonable.
I'm not
That
gonna
sounds
say that within a
reasonable.
week. Let's, at your, see if, as soon as possible.
Okay, yep.
Okay, we'll table that till we can get some more information. One, to see what the bid price for to install, and the other one is to see whether it's the other company, the second company down, which is Kansas Flagpole?
It's Heartland, and I believe, no,
Heartland's
yeah,
something.
Heartland is the one you wanted to know if it's rope
Yeah.
or wire. Okay, we can do that.
All righty. Thank you for getting it to this stage.
Sure, sorry, I know it's kind
No,
of a mess.
Not to muddy it any worse, but does Banner actually say if it's wire or rope?
We'll find out.
There's some without, isn't there?
Okay.
Put it up there? Please, correct?
Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. Budget work session. I have visited with Scott Lloyd, and we are looking at potentially the 22nd of June for an all-day budget workshop with the departments, and that would be a Tuesday, I believe, June 22nd.
Right, Tuesday.
And then potentially another work session if you all could do the 28th of June. We don't have a regular meeting that day. So we would be able to then work on budget on the 28th also, it's a Monday. Kind of devote a day to that. Scott would be available for that. And then we would look at 1 or 2 dates in the first part of July, first half of July.
Do I hear any conflicts of interest with the 22nd and 28th for a budget from anybody? I think that's the given dates, let's go with.
Okay, just wanted to mention to the board, because this is a new law this year, that we need to know our levy rate by July 20. So you all will have to have the budget pretty well decided, not all line by line in the forms, but overall, by fund, you're gonna need to know your levy rate by that time because of the new law that passed.
How much time does that leave all the other taxing?
It's the same. We all have the same deadline for that. Everybody,
They gotta know, so we gotta be ahead of that, so that they got time to prepare, right?
well, they are gonna do what they need to do regardless of what
Theirs
we
will be
do.
independent of us in that regard.
I thought it was intertwined, so.
No.
But everyone has to have their levy rate, their hearing date, everything to me by July 20. So we're gonna need to have good forward motion and wrap it up like the second week of July at the latest.
You're looking at May being gone already and June, so we have to get with our department heads and have any request. Now, is there,
Because there's some paydays, so.
That's right, that's right.
so, that's all right, is there anything different approach since this has all happened, that we can take a different approach to budget for next year?
But you can take any approach you would like.
Yeah, but, I mean, I do have a commissioner clear on the end down there that he's just waiting to get into this budget.
I've just heard so many good things.
But, I mean,
It's a lot to learn.
a lot to go here to do, to get all the requests from our own department heads and things, so I'm just looking for any new ways to speed it up, to improve.
If you wanna have them submit their requests ahead of time, ahead of that presentation on the 22nd, then, you know.
Kent, you've been here, go around, how can we improve on our budget workshops and things? I mean, they bring it in and report to us, and we don't have time to discuss, we don't have time to
Well,
evaluate.
normally the first meeting we have with Scott Lloyd, he goes over, it's kind of a big general picture of where we are and where we might wanna go or not wanna go. And so I'm not sure if getting the department's information prior might, it might be good if we inform the departments to start working at what they're looking at for budget for next year, so that would be ready to go by no later than the second meeting that we had with Scott. But I don't know, what's your thoughts?
Well, generally, that first meeting, the departments do bring their requests in. We do the general information, but that's, then the departments give their requests. And, one way, and then generally we have several meetings with Scott, and it kind of depends on what the board's vision is as far as how quickly we move forward then after that. But one suggestion might be, Chairman Dahlke, would be perhaps to split that department day into 2 days and spend longer with each department where they could do their presentation, and if you wanted to discuss it then, or question anything, or, say yes or no, then you could maybe do it then, but.
Well, we get their wish list, and we've got to decide whether we give them all when it comes down to Scott Lloyd, or whether we don't never go back and say, no, we didn't give you this, we didn't give you that. I'm just asking for ways to have a better relationship, so we know, or when they propose something, we need to know exactly why. Sometimes the guy just want it, it's just new.
It probably would be wise to give each department a little more time to spend with us than trying to jam them all into a day.
Yeah, it's a long day, and Joni, Dave sat here now one time, I think, already.
Another option could be to still do that day, then give you all some chance to review it, plug the numbers in, and then see, one of the things that typically we should be doing with Scott is then looking at each one and figuring out, well, is this something that we want to move forward with? And then you could always, after that second day with Scott, you could either bring certain departments back in for another session to talk, or you could bring everyone back in if you decided to do that and go through what you put in and what you haven't. But that would be quite a bit closer to somewhere in towards the end of the process in July to where
Some of the
you've
work
made
needs to
some
be pushed
decisions.
back further, ahead. I mean, you know, get here earlier than we wait till the last minute.
Okay,
I think, honestly, in my opinion, I'd like to see it on the 21st of June. On their wish list, as far as, that way you've got that evening to review it before they show up the next day to present it.
or, I mean, we could even move the department presentations up further and not have Scott for that part and just submit them to him. You could do those a week or two ahead of time,
Putting it pretty tight on
yes.
on the 14th then?
Um,
June 14th of June, that's.
And then
that's
they could be
weeks away.
required to submit it by electronically earlier so that you could have it before
Yeah.
that meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, then we got time to review it on that Monday. Well, actually, on the 11th would be better. That way it's available on the 14th for that commission meeting.
Right.
You wanna give them 10 days to do it?
I know, but
Okay.
that gives us, two commission days to, for lack of a better word, cuts to discuss before the 22nd.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is Treasury will not close out May's business, and we've asked them to do it as quickly as possible. This, you know, because we knew budget was gonna be tight, but we won't have that, I mean, they won't have that closed before the 7th or 8th probably of June. And so then we have to prepare the department's budget reports for them to use so we do those worksheets so they can see what they've spent so far, what their budget is, what their past budget is, you know, to where they can fill those papers out. So yeah,
It's gonna be a tight window for them.
I mean, it's always like that.
Okay, now,
They're used to it though, you know.
pay is not an item for this. I mean, we are already implemented pay, so pay is not an issue with next year's budget. I mean,
The salaries should be generated by our office and not individual offices coming and
That's-
asking.
that's
Is
what
that
I'm
what
saying.
you're saying?
yes. And so salary is something that's not there, but I guess projects, what they're wanting to redo, just cut it, I'm trying to cut it down to what's gonna be new.
What
what they-
equipment and supplies.
Equipment and stuff, like equipment and projects that are something like that, so, so we can get a streamlined look here, because that's one thing we've been way too lax in.
It'd be basically capital expenditures then.
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah. So, and new positions now, I mean, that may be coming up on a budget item too, so, I think if we can get a streamlined list and get this, make it moving just a little bit quicker, then we'll sit here all day and it really, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an all day deal no matter what, yes, but at least we know coming up next week, we got this, and this to look at. Just suggestions, if the rest of the board don't wanna do that, that's fine with me, I'm just suggesting things, that's.
No, it's gonna be expedited a little earlier.
I guess I would make a motion that all departments present their proposed budgets by June 11th.
I would second that. Have a motion on the floor by Jonas, second by me, to have their proposed items in by June 11th. And do it. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No, I couldn't tell what you said. That's why I was looking.
It'll be on.
5-0. It will test our people a little bit, but if they let us know they're working on it, and give us a couple of, even if they're a couple days late, I would at least give a deadline there, so.
Okay, I did have a COVID update. You want me to read that or?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I never know exactly how much time to schedule for us, so. As of 7:30 this morning, Marion County has 699 confirmed PCR cases, 391 probable cases. There are 5 active, 0 hospitalizations, and 24 vital statistic confirmed deaths. Our rolling 14-day positivity rate for 5/2 through 5/15 is 4.5%. Information on variance by county can be found on the variance of concern tab. There has been no change in the variance of concern. Last week's vaccination clinics, Moderna, 14 prime and 10 booster doses administered. Johnson & Johnson, 14 doses administered. Pfizer vaccine was received and administered at the schools. There were 67 prime doses and 18 booster doses given. This week's vaccine clinic will be held at the health department on Tuesday, May 25th. Moderna, prime, and booster doses will be administered. Anyone interested in Johnson & Johnson can call the health department for an appointment. And the online scheduler remains open for appointments on May 25th and June 1st.
Yeah. Any questions? Right. What else you got, Dan?
That's all.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
So we might make it more work for herself.
We'll move into Road and Bridge with Mr. Bryce. Good afternoon, Bryce. Bryce, I will tell you that we did have public comment from Nick Krause here, and he stuck around to just discuss his road a little bit. Maybe could we handle that to start with?
That's fine, sure.
Okay. And so, I think Nick's comments was that, you know, he'd just like to see what was gonna happen out there. He's put some rock on himself out there. Nick, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss with?
No, I mean, as a school bus route, I just,
East of 77
East of
feels
77.
forgotten. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I had one person this weekend complain that the last time their road was bladed, that they left a bunch of wads of stuff on their grass, and then it dawned on them that, oh, wait a minute, that was the last time it was bladed, and I was mowing around them last fall. So that's a road that hadn't been touched in 8 months.
So, Bryce, I mean, I don't wanna, we're not here to just jump down you right now or anything like that. If you can research something here, or if you know about Nick's Road, why, anything that you can, you know, come back with that, tell us, or whatever. I mean,
Well, I can tell you that, obviously, it's been this way for a while, but the last couple weeks hasn't helped anything either. We've been talking about, you know, we've been using our trucks so far, and we kind of want to keep doing that until we've got time to do our blade patching and stuff like that. We've talked about hiring contract haulers to do that, so we're looking at all those opportunities. We just can't get there to do everything. So, and I appreciate. I think it was you actually hauled your own rock, I believe, out there in places. I do appreciate. Should we have to do with that? No. I've had other people look at it and see other spots. We're just, you know, we're trying to run all over the county, hit those spots, and we just can't get to everything. But yeah, it shouldn't have to be that way.
Can we get some reassurances if we do that and we do finally get lucky enough to have our road bladed or rocked, that you don't pick up and stop? Because those spots that we rocked obviously need extra rock, and
oh yeah,
I'd like to see the county.
Sure.
People have complained about that. They're like, you finally rocked my road, and they stopped where I rocked and started. It needs more.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, because we're I'd say kind of spot treating and stuff like that in those places. Yeah, we need to get all the way across there. Now I will tell you, one of the things I was going to talk to you about was on this STAR program, there is actually what they call a road map layer, that once this information is put in, you can actually click it into what they call a map. So when and if something like that comes up, we can just go back and click that mile. It'll give you the entire, when it was bladed, when it had rock and whatever else, so that, you know, and honestly, I've got to say is I can't guarantee that every one of these roads is going over in the same amount of time. I mean, the guys know they're hitting some of the roads more than they do the others. Not saying that's the case here, but that would help that situation. So, but yeah, I you know, like I said, these last couple months, couple weeks, getting these rains and the cloudy skies. I mean, and man, I tell you what, if we get a partly cloudy or sunny day, it's amazing how much they dry out. We just never get to that point. So, and these guys are continuing to feed and everything else down there. They have to get down the road. So, Just seems like we lose and lose and lose.
I thought we was on the STAR program already.
We are. This is in addition to what we're doing.
Okay.
But like I said, it's just something to think about. I'm gonna do more investigating on it, but I've been told by a couple other people in other counties that it's worth its weight in gold. When something like that comes up, that you can just say, boom, here's what's happened in the last year. And it can kind of maybe open you up to some of the inefficiencies or whatever you want to say, to where we're not getting to where these places may be. So
Is it Morris County on it?
I believe they are. I know I've talked with Chase County. They were the ones that, they just said it's been fantastic. So,
They don't have any roads.
well, they still have roads, they don't have as many roads.
Yeah, I know.
But unfortunately, that is one of the things that kills us here, is most of our county is almost, all section roads, so.
Why would it be though, if a maintainer's got their section to run, that a road would go without blading for 8 months?
I couldn't even begin to answer that. Now, I mean, that's,
I mean, that's what I don't wrap my.
well, honestly, I can't wrap my head around it either, that it would be that long, but,
Is it, I had heard, you'd have to tell me this, there's a Kansas state statute that says that the road has to be passed every so often.
no clue.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew anything about that. I thought there was I had heard that there was something that states that due to liability, whatever, it has to be gone over.
Nothing to do
I'm
with
not
it.
aware of it, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know how much this additional software costs?
Their quote was $3,000. It was $2,500 for the roadmap layer and then $500 for setup and installation. I'm gonna follow up with more information.
I mean, it sounds like a great tool if we use it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Because we've had too many roads that, they start on and they get 2/3 of the mile, and then the rest of that mile doesn't get anything for the next
Yeah.
4 years, and
The other
those
thing
are the
that-
things we need to get away from.
Sure. The other thing we found out with the documentation is now is you basically, when you put it in, what we're finding out is you have to be very specific where you put it in. This road to this road here, where if it's a little bit different, or I worked at the intersection of this, well, if you say intersection, then you gotta say, well, no, it's gotta be north, south, east, or west. So there's a little bit of discrepancy there, but, like I said, it's just something to look at, but I'll check into it and get back, but may help, obviously too, I'd like to say that, my personal opinion is, if that was the case, the road hadn't been hit in that long, something needs to be done to that person, whoever it was, so, but,
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, to me, it seems like that's their job, that's their responsibility, that's their section.
sure. Well, we've got a lot of, people are calling about like 360th east of Ramona. We were actually gonna go in there and do a light bill to bring up the shoulder, stuff like that. Well, again, the last 2 weeks have just been, and in the meantime, people are still driving over, it's not getting any better, and, if we go out and spot fill those rocks, then we're gonna go back and possibly lose that when we're done, but this weather is just.
360 has probably had twice as much rock as what he's had, or 3 times as much. That's
Well,
3 times as much traffic.
Yeah, and it's a wider road too, that's,
Yeah,
there's.
so wide, yes.
Yeah, there's numerous things, the road probably shouldn't be that wide, but it is, and, same thing going east of Lincoln, there's no reason that road needs to be that wide either, but it is. So obviously the wider it is, the more rock it takes and everything else, but, no, again, we gotta work on these issues and do a better job of trying to get stuff around, so.
We might send either you or Steve, make a trip by and sort of find out exactly how Nick's road is.
Well, we know, we did that last week already,
Okay.
and, so,
Okay.
As far as, contract trucks, are they just going on roads that you've already dealt with, got up to par, and they're just laying on top? Are we keeping back our trucks to, like, if you scarify an area, keep our trucks back to do that?
Typically, when we contract out trucks, we tell them a specific route that we want them to do. We try to make it a longer haul for them. Like for instance, the 360th or East of Lincoln, several miles in a row. Before we do that, we'll go in and do anything that we want to do. we can do a mile at a time, but then it gets to be really, not really confusing, but a lot more work to try, okay, this. So we still use our trucks too. Now again, that's hurting us because of lack of trucks, but lately we've been pulling guys off the equipment because they can't do anything either. So we're running 5 or 6 trucks a day, which is still better. But that's just the big thing, is just keeping track of it. Sent a message in this morning to get rock maps from the section guys on things that we haven't noticed, to get those into. So
Some of the biggest complaints I'm getting are potholes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
yeah, well, and the guys, I get a little frustrated at times, say, well, I can't fix the potholes to get more material. I said, no, that's not the case. You work them in the same time, to where we work on the potholes, we drop rock on top, we should hopefully eliminate or minimize or mitigate a lot of them. So yeah, and unfortunately when we get this kind of weather like it is, it just exasperates it, because you put water in those holes and people hit them, it just makes them worse and deeper, and so it's quite a little battle. But
Nick, hope to get you taken care of and see best we can. And thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it.
Have you done any more checking on that base rock at Lincolnville?
Base rock.
Yeah, the bigger stuff. We talked about you possibly utilizing bird camp for some of those areas that are closer.
Right. You mean Burkamp's quarry.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about that. We haven't had a meeting yet, but we do have one scheduled for this week, so we can talk about that. So.
Okay. All right, keep it going then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I have area fuel bids. Epps was below co-op with a no bid again. Epps was low in all 3 areas.
You buy fuel once a week or once?
We usually go bid every month. We do transport 1 week and then area the next, and that's usually what we go through in a month.
Every week.
Make a motion to go with EPS and the total amount of all 3 areas, $11,531.70.
Have a motion, do I hear a second? Second by Dave Mueller. EPS was $11,531.70. MFA oil was $12,222.02. EPS was low bid at that price of $11,531.70. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
All right. Getting back with the rock crushing, the concrete crushing up there. Brad and I went round and round several times with getting stuff figured out. What we did was revised the contract, and he signed it last Friday. Is that correct? Today's the 24th. Yes. He signed it Friday, and I signed it today, assuming that you have no problem with it. What we did was we changed the completion date to July 1st of this year. And based on that, if he's not done by then, it would be $1,500 a day as an additional cost. Now, we don't want to say this is liquidated damages or whatever else. We look at the fact is that is the extra price that we would pay to haul our material or get same material from Harshman's or any other quarry compared to what we're getting crushed for. Brad and I talked about it. We don't want to make it seem like a punitive thing, but we've got to the point to where if we're holding off weight and material, then it's going to cost us the extra expenses. Now, again, he did agree with it, and because since the last time we've talked about this, I said we could pay him $50,000. I am very, very comfortable with that amount, that he's got that much produced or more on the ground, especially with the other stuff here. So if you guys don't have any problem with that, we can go with that. Now, I will tell you, if you are worried about this contract in any means, I already contacted him, and he is able to get a performance bond for the whole thing, if you are worried about that. According to his the bond person he's worked with, that it would be several $1,000s, whatever else, to get the bond. But even his guy said, I'm not worried about him getting the project, but I said, I've got to make sure that you guys are happy with that. So either way, we could do that.
Does that cover, you got one company down south and one up north?
Everything goes through Brian.
Okay.
He has chosen himself to bring
Subbed
some
out.
of it. Yes.
Okay.
And we didn't have any prohibition on that.
Yes.
Because when Bryce told me that, I just kind of looked through the bids,
Yeah.
and there was nothing that would preclude that. And it's actually doing some benefit for us at this point, because it's the second company working and getting something accomplished over there, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that all runs through him, not us.
Okay. You said the 50,000 payment, you would like to go through with that for payday or so? Or-
Yeah, for this Friday or whatever it would be, if that'd be okay. So
Board, any discussion?
What do we pay him so far?
we haven't paid anything.
Yes.
We were going to, and then
No, we
through all
discussed
this, we wanted to make sure you guys wanted a completion date and whatever else. So that's what we've been.
Does he want to, in some way, enhance his bid if he has to put the performance bond in?
We did not go there. I left that open to say whether he pays for it or whether the commission would pay for it and get deducted at the end. Again, I don't know, maybe there's a legality either way for that.
We didn't, it's one of those things, I guess, going forward, because this was done before we
Yes.
started to have some of these other experiences, really want a performance bond each and
Yeah.
every time I can get one on anything that's significant. I would certainly recommend you kind of consider that. I'm glad Bryce asked him about it, because first I wanted to see whether he would in fact agree to even consider doing that, which he
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that we have any idea on the cost on that.
He said that it was, his insurance man, bond man said that, it was gonna be about $30 per thousand. So based on $200,000, it'd be about $6,000. Now, again, for the, guarantee, if you want to say, or the surety or the bond, that he will finish the contract. And, and he's, I have no doubt that he definitely wants to do this and everything else. He does not want to tarnish his reputation, his bonding and everything else too. He wants to finish, it's just that he's ran into all these problems. And again, it is what it is. Like Brad said, if we'd have done this right to begin with, we could have set up installment payments, all that stuff, which, hindsight.
Well, at this point, we're only paying for product that's complete.
Yes, and that's why I said I still have total faith that we're, and he asked me where I come up with, and I said, well, that was just, approximately 1/4 of where we are with all that left to go. So like I said, and I'm, like I said, very confident that we have way more than that on the ground.
He's been running for 2 weeks now without any breakdowns.
For the most part, one of the things he's facing now is just getting the material from the very north end down to the crusher. He's tried to find all-terrain trucks to do that. None of them are around. I've been told about a landowner over here by Hillsborough. He tried to rent a John Deere excavator. Out of all the Murphy stores, Nebraska, Kansas, whatever else, there's not one to rent. Whatever it is right now, equipment is just nuts. And so he said, I can't find the trucks to get him up there. He could probably use regular dump trucks, but we'll probably spend more time with repairs. But, so we even tried locally. With Justin.
You should have known that from the get-go.
Well, I mean, if he could have hauled most of this material and got it crushed before this wet weather, would have been, probably different. But that's the other thing. And these guys down here face a little bit too when that material's wet and it's slightly muddy. It tends to plug up screens and stuff. It's not the ideal situation. But.
Okay, the metal in the south shop out here is our problem, correct?
Yes.
So, I don't know how much you got left. Somebody said last week you had a half a pile left. I don't know what.
Probably less than that. My thought is if they have a good week, they should be done. Now, I will tell you, I contacted Brian, who contacted them, and they made some adjustments on their magnets. And everything that I've seen in the pile, and I even took a picture of it, again, can't see anything. Still no guarantee. I do have those magnets that I'm going to put on the front of a motor grader that will be able to go down the road. I think that will pick up a lot more. But it's one of the things where we're gonna do whatever we can to get rid of all that material. Last Monday, when we were talking about this stuff out on Yarrow, we replaced a motor grader tire with a chisel shank in it that was on the road. So we have a $1,000 tire that has a chisel shank, and again, that stuff was on the road that we deal with also. So would you expect that out there? No, but it is what it is. But no, I still think.
My question was leading to, are we gonna use that smaller stuff? Do we need to break it down to a bigger size for fill rock or something, or?
I still think it's very, very good material if used
Okay.
in the wrong spot, a little extra work, whatever else. If we put it out for a base and cover it up with something else, we're still very, very good shape
Okay.
with that material.
You said the magnets are only about $700 a piece.
No, there was, I believe there were $700 for both of them. The 5 foot diameter,
So that
5
fits,
foot length.
that fits one grader?
No, excuse me, they were 5 foot wide. I'm gonna put them side by side on the front of a motor grader. Basically just hang them down right on the front lift group, and as they go along, as they fill up, you just pull off side of the road, you just pick up the levers, disconnects the magnet, or lets the magnet go, it drops right there, we can pick it up. So, and then we can use them time and time again if we go over it.
Just curious if that's not a bad idea, just to equip all the graders with that.
Well, we can. What I was looking at was.
Because there's nails, there's
Sure.
staples, there's all kinds of stuff that can be picked up, and we're already passing the road.
Well, but the other thing that I can see with that is that now they're watching one more thing. And the fact is they're trying to maintain the roads, but yet they're watching their magnets to see what they're picking up. Because they've got to make sure that that magnet sits, an inch or two off the ground as compared to whatever else. So, yeah, it would be great. I kind of want to see where these first ones go, and if that's the case, we can sure do that. Or maybe not every one of them, but more and more of them. The other thing we look at is like scarifiers for the front of machines. They're $8,000 a piece. So I'd like to have a whole bunch more of them, but $8,000 is tough to swallow too. So, but anyway, I definitely understand. Something I want to look at. So,
Well, Mr. Chairman, if we could get back to the
Yes.
crushing modification.
Okay.
I'd move to approve the modification and the $50,000 payment.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Dave Trumpa, motion by Dave Mueller. Go ahead with the $50,000 payment. And Brad, you're okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Based on, well, again, I guess it's kind of a combined discussion, whether we want to do the performance bond in addition to that in some way. I certainly am, because based on what Bryce has told me, that we've got more than that much consideration completed.
Okay.
But that's 50,000, we're into it, but we've gotten that. Now, going forward, what would you like to do? It would be nice if we set this up, if we did the performance bond with that same date in it, and they see our copy of the contract, which they will, it makes life a lot easier for us, and then we have to make claim on it, as opposed to him directly. But again, that 6,000, I don't know, we haven't talked with him about where that'll come from, and how close he bid this. Obviously, he was fairly competitive, so several
Okay.
pieces to that.
Have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, my vote.
okay. Do you want me to find out more information about whether he would pay for that, whether he would want us to pay for that, and maybe take it out of the end? That's
Yeah,
an
we'll find
option.
out. Go ahead.
Okay.
But we were looking at a $200,000 contract.
Yes.
50,000's already off.
Yeah.
Probably write another 50, at least half.
Probably another 50 on the ground already too.
So the performance bond doesn't need to be for the full 200,000, right?
Well, and again, and the only reason why I said the full amount was that I say it's easier on the paperwork.
Oh,
This is what my
okay.
original
Gotcha.
contract was. I'm now going to provide a performance
Gotcha.
bond for the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Whatever that is, it would be subjective amount to say exactly what's on the ground now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what makes
it's-
it a little more difficult, but yeah, it's a good point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just asking.
It saves a little money. I mean, I
Yes.
suppose we could come to some agreement
Yeah.
on something a little
I mean, if the
lower.
project's half done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
why
Well,
would
and,
we pay
and,
for
you
it?
know.
Why
that-
insure something we don't have?
Yeah, well, and that would be if, say, for instance, we made it up for half.
Yep.
We now dropped to 3,000.
Yeah.
You know.
You put it to the full amount, that would probably technically keep you from taking and using any of that material.
Well,
If
and
you
we
paid
have.
for that material, you could go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
But if it was tied to a payment performance bond until you take ownership of it, then you
Well,
can't use it.
I can tell you that we had used some of that material based on agreements, because I said, look, we need some material. So I don't think that would be, I mean, I understand what you're saying, I don't think that would be.
The ability, and Tina was just mentioning that as well, what we can do is progress billing kind of an arrangement.
Well, that too, yeah.
In that instance, they would recognize you paid for,
Yes.
therefore it's yours to go ahead and utilize.
Right.
So there's several ways for us to go about doing that. I suppose best thing to do is have Bryce have the conversation with him directly, see what his comfort level is and what he's thinking on that cost. I just really am a supporter of those performance bonds because of our experience recently, and my experience globally over the years. It just makes life a little bit easier for us, with that guarantee.
Well, I can tell you, I talked to him about this about 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. He contacted his insurance man, and his insurance man called me right away this morning. Said, I would have called you last night, but the volume people had already gone home.
Sure.
So it's not like he's dragging his feet. He was, hey, I'm trying to figure out what to do to.
He's around.
Yeah, so, okay. Again, this Thursday, we have a meeting with Burkamp to talk about the quarry. Burkamp, myself, as well as Sharon, so we can discuss, all the issues, and I don't know, do you need to be there, Brad, or?
I don't know that I have to be. Is it in the morning?
Yes.
Fair. Do you know what time you
9
guys?
o'clock.
Yeah, I could be if you need for me
We're gonna
to.
meet at Sharon's office. He didn't really want to do the virtual meeting, whatever else he's coming up himself, just to do that. But we're not only gonna talk about, what they're gonna do with the quarry, and then we're gonna talk about the use of that road,
Yeah.
because we had actually talked about doing some work to rebuild it, which would be beneficial to them. But Scott Burkamp himself is coming up. So we're talking about that. And then also we talked about, well, first we talked about before, what kind of rock do you want us to make if you want to use it? So those are all discussions we can have there.
We could reduce all that to writing too if we need to, just so we have a.
Yeah. And like I said, that's where we just have to start with trying to expectations from both sides and stuff, so, okay. Let's see, whatever else. I've got, I guess, a request for a promotion. I don't know whether you want to do it in executive session. It's from an EO1 to an EO2, would be just a standard salary change. I don't know, Tina, do we have to do that in executive session, or?
He has to meet certain standards.
If you're gonna talk about the performance of individual, I think it'd be better.
Well,
to-
that's why I
You
didn't.
need to do that, and then if they make any decision would be made in open session regarding.
Okay. So I guess if that's what I need to, I'd like to have 5 minutes. So.
I would move we recess into executive session or discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board, Brad and Bryce and Tina. For 5 minutes, that would be from 1:43 to 1:48. Do I hear a second? Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye. Aye. 5 votes.
Okay, if I can find
In Nebraska, they had in appointing somebody.
Well, to fill a term?
Do what?
To fill a term?
Yes.
Okay, that
that's
might
an elected
sound a
official.
little
Yeah,
more.
but I was like, even something like that open to the public was shocking, so.
Let's come back.
This conference will now be recorded.
That just in time.
Out of executive session, Ronald Wirtz will be moved to equipment operator 2 from 2408 to 2538.
It's just a kid.
5 years.
5 years old.
5 years.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
What else do you have, Bryce?
All right, I'm sure you guys are aware of the Father Capon stuff. Obviously, is getting hot and heavy. They have the Father Capon days. Just so happens that it falls under that Old Settler Days, or whichever one it is. Anyway, they're having a walk on June 5th and June 6th in Marion County, the week from this coming weekend. Everything has been arranged. Just FYI, I just talked to the guy before I come up. There are 320 people in the walk. And they're walking through here, they're staying out west of town, and then they're walking up to Pilsen Sunday morning. They're arranging all their front chaser cars and all that other stuff too, just FYI that's what that's gonna be. But then also that the remains will temporarily be coming to Pilsen on Old Settler Days, which is what, September or whatever it is.
20-something.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting. You guys can talk with Randy Frank, but I mean, even Homeland Security is interested. Fort Riley soldiers will be here. They're worrying about possible, you name it. So it's going to be very hectic during that time. But one of the things that we've talked about is that being in Pilsen is we have the Pilsen shop up there. So we probably need to be thinking about maybe something with Brad is, what are we gonna allow to happen there, if anything? Parking, whatever else. There could be, nobody really knows how many people could be there. They're supposedly having a mass just for their own parishioners, but they've got people calling from all over the United States, all over the world, wanting to be there. So.
Is Homeland Security going to use them? Fort Riley want to use the shop? Which is
Nobody has talked about that
Okay.
yet, but I'm just saying, is that something as far as what do we want to do, what don't we want to do? I mean, they're even everybody in Pilsen's talking about, just exactly what might happen. There will be more to come, but like I said, that's
This is
just.
September 1, right?
It's is it the third weekend in September?
third weekend. I think.
Something like that. It just so happened to be Old Settlers Weekend, which the family and the federal government and everybody on the church did not realize that was a special date for all these people coming to Marion the way it is. So we will deal with that also.
It might be the 24th and 25th.
Okay. Like I said, whatever like I said, there'll be more to come, but anyway, that's just something that we need to look at. And obviously too, if this does continue on to the process of his sainthood, might have to look at something more of a permanent basis too, because we could be expecting, again, nobody knows that that's holding anywhere from hundreds to thousands of people on a daily basis. It's just one of those things.
Now, the thing to remember about the September event is that's supposed to be for the local community.
Yes.
This is not supposed to be open to the public. How they're going to limit that
Yeah.
is going to be a huge issue. But let's remember, this is Pilsen.
Yes.
And this is very, very important to the Pilsen community.
Right.
Yes.
And we need to respect that, and we need to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
Down the road, there's gonna be some major things, there's committees working on that, but for this event, the focus is supposed to be for that parish. So we need to be respectful of that.
These walks that you're talking about, they've had these before.
Yeah, the
Yes.
walks, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
September.
Yes,
But this-
I realize that, but I'm saying the walks have been.
Yeah.
This walk originally, they shut it off at 400. Now they're down to, I think he said 315, 320, but still, it's still a significant amount of people walking down the highway,
Yeah.
crossing 56. They've already talked to the highway patrol and whatever else about stopping traffic. So, they've definitely done this before. They know what they need to do, so.
Well, they've been coordinating surely
They've done.
with sheriff department on that.
Yeah, well, they said, the highway patrol has done this in the past. The problem with the sheriff's office is they're gonna be busy with Old Settler Days and stuff like that too, possibly. So, but anyway, they're taking care of all that, so the less we have to do, the better. I wanna keep it in their hands. The only thing I had left was, you guys talked about, I heard you talking about budget hearing, or the budget. If you guys wanted to go over some of the stuff that I was looking for prior to that point, or do you wanna just wait till budget? Totally up to you.
We also mentioned earlier about a work session too that
Or
would.
work session, right, I mean,
So-
whatever the case may be, so.
So,
You wanna try to schedule another
That's
reschedule
fine
it.
with me, so.
Wanna
Would you-
do wanna do that? I mean, put a tight crunch on getting his
I
budget
know.
proposal, so let him do that and then.
Let's focus on the
something
budget.
Right after that, or,
Again, I don't care, I just, so, I don't know what you're, I mean, I heard you guys talk about several different scenarios as to what you're gonna do.
well, we did the rundown last year, so I just, whatever it's updated to this year for Dave's sake, probably.
Okay. Do that first and then,
David Mueller.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear any final motions there that you'd like to?
How about the first Monday in June? What does that look like, Tina? Could we have a work session?
that's, the commission meeting's on the first.
Right, I mean, could we have that following the commission? Or the morning of? We could do it the morning of.
You don't wanna stay till 8, 9 o'clock at night?
No. The morning of work.
Well, it's, I mean, that's June 7th. Do you want to try to do, I mean, you could try to do something, a
Do a
special
separate
meeting the
day.
first week of June if you want.
Okay.
Because you don't meet on Monday because it's Memorial Day,
Right.
so
Was it, so
We
they're
don't
not
have a
doing that
meeting.
to Tuesday then?
there's not a meeting scheduled at
Oh,
this point.
okay. Like I said, I don't really care, just if we got it on the schedule, then we'll can work towards that, so.
We can do it that day.
Tuesday,
June 1st.
June 1st?
We do it in the afternoon.
Yeah. Regular meeting time, just have a work session, is that what you're
That's
speaking
what-
about?
Yep.
Just say the same time or
Yeah,
1 o'clock
12:30.
or 12:30.
Okay.
12:30.
That's our routine, 12.
Yep.
Can't break routine.
That's right.
It'll be a work session, Tina,
Okay.
12:30 first.
I do have a comment on the chat, and it just came to me asking about possibly discussing further payment schedule for the crushing contract. And I don't know if the board wants to schedule that as an agenda item, or do it during public comment, or if you wanna discuss it now.
That was brought up, I believe it's his wife, it's
Yeah.
comment, yep. Was asking about that is because he didn't really wanna wait till the very end. I said, well, a lot of that would come back, the fact is if we got the bond and stuff to that effect, if that would make you, more satisfied with that, so,
But we are proceeding with the $50,000.
yes, yeah.
I think the work has to be done before we do something.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's stopping, he's continually to work, but
Right.
he's just trying to get caught up with,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, just this little amount here is gonna help a little bit, but he's still could use, you know, so.
When, I tell you what, how does this sound, board, if Bryce reports to us, he feels that at least half of it is done, that we make another payment?
And then, well-
50,000 more?
And here's the other thing, is I told Brian, I said, Brian, all things considered, you agree to this July 1st date. If July 1st gets here and you're done, it's a moot point. So that was the point of putting that time frame in there. He understood that. I mean, I said, Brian, we're not just totally against you.
If June 11th come along and you feel that we're 50% done, 50% of the contract, maybe,
Okay.
does the board sort of feel good with that, or performance of with Brad? I mean, give me some feedback here.
Be like a progress payment.
Yeah, like progress payment or something.
Okay, gives them something to obviously to shoot for too. So, like I said, I told Brian, I said, you want to get out of here, we want you to get out of here, and
Yeah. Okay.
not that I don't like him or anything, but just,
Right.
you know. So.
Well, that gives them something to work,
Yeah.
like June 11th, that gives them something to look at, see where we're at on
So
June
that would
11th.
be basically 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I had. Oh, I heard you guys talking about something about people missing the roundabout and using a road or something. Was that 210?
Nick,
Yeah, next room.
he says
Okay.
if they missed around out there, coming down.
so if they don't get off the roundabout at the right place, they're going down the next mile, because that's where the GPS takes them.
Right, that was the shortest way to get
Come around,
back.
Brings
get
them
the
back.
stuff.
So is it moving in west then, or
My,
east?
my assumption is they missed their north turn.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my assumption too, yeah.
Okay,
Because
well,
otherwise it'd probably take you south on Wagon.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, and the issue I have is I can put up a sign, but I can tell you it doesn't even wait to County Road. You can see somebody got stuck up there last week again, turning around just at the edge of the pavement. They try to turn around there and they get stuck and then they get pulled out and they get their trailer sitting out in the middle of the road and stuff. So, I mean, I can put up signs, but that's about all we really do. So.
What is it? 210.
Need to put 100 foot
210 is
cement
one, you
down.
said people getting stuck on it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be Wagon Wheel, that's
Well,
pretty firm.
yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, some of them, the ones that are going to have problems are going to be your big trucks, and that's the one that are going to cause problems. Have corners and stuff to that effect, and then unfortunately when they go down the road, they're like, oh man, I'm not going to go. Well, it's not like they can back up and back across the highway, so it's just a bad deal. So, but like I said, I'll check into it and I can put up signs, but that's about all I can really do to say. You know, so.
The GPS is wrong.
Well, no, GPS is right. That is the shortest distance to get back to where you need to be. It does not know what roads are dirt and rock and pavement, and so. Anyway,
Thank
you
you,
guys
Bryce.
have anything else then?
No, I don't have nothing.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ricky, I buttered him up.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi, gentlemen.
It's
Thanks,
kinda warm.
I get to
It's
see
warm
you.
for
It's
you.
warm for me?
It's warm.
Are we?
Want some sunshine?
Ah.
Sunshine.
Go ahead, it's on recording, so go ahead.
All right, I just wanted to give you all, I guess, an update as much as anything else. I think that maybe my board has been looking at alternative office space, and we've found a building to purchase. When we utilize a leased purchase agreement, that certainly is something that we can fit within our mill levy that we already have, and so it's not anything that's going to require a mill levy increase, guys, to make happen. I want to let you know, because according to the core statutory requirements, when we utilize a leased purchase, we have to publish a public notice in the paper, actually in both counties. And so that is going to be showing up. We have agreed upon a price, and so with the seller, and so that is going to be showing up in the paper. I just didn't want you guys to get blindsided by that, or that's when you read it. Okay, I really don't. So anyway, we're going to continue on with that. Nothing at this point is a done deal, obviously. There will be the publishing of that resolution begins a public comment period, or a public protest period, and so we'll have to see how that goes.
But as far as it goes, you have a signed contract, correct? I mean, as our
Sign the contract.
memorandum of understanding, at least.
Yes.
So that way nobody could come in and bid up the thing.
That is correct.
Okay.
We have done that. The thing that, as far as that affects that contract, is, Jonah, is actually a closing date. Because I cannot close until we get through this
The hearings.
public comment period, and that's a period of 30 days, and that can't start until, and that resolution is in the hands of council as we speak. So yes, we do have, it's just that what's a little bit up in the air is a closing date at this point in time, okay?
That's contingent.
It is, that's where that's
Just
at.
as long as you
You've
protect
got,
it.
you've got an intent to purchase at this point.
Yes, that is. I mean, everything is agreed upon. The And the seller, you know, is aware of our statutory requirements that we have to fulfill, and that's typically is kind of what is, I guess, slowing things down. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but that's just where we're at.
Cool, very good.
And so anyway, but I just wanted to let everyone
Appreciate
know where that is and what will be, and you know, and what we think will be occurring as we get through the summer and into the fall or something of that nature. Okay.
Anxiously awaiting your next return.
Okay. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
is that it, guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you,
Thank
Ricky.
you, guys. All right, you're up, man.
Good afternoon, Isaac.
Good afternoon. Before we get into the doc discussion, there was a couple things I wanted to talk to the board about. The first being I was approached here, about a month ago about possibly, I guess in the past, at one point they did a fireworks show out at the lake. We don't want to interfere with Peabody show. The plan right now, what we're looking at is possibly doing a quick show on July 3rd. There's a local band here in Marion that's wanting to use our stage. So what we were thinking about doing is maybe doing a little concert with a food vendor, and then a short little fireworks show on the night of the 3rd. My question was, I guess, liability-wise, permitting-wise, all of that, what would we need to do, or what did they do in the past when they had that fireworks show out there at the lake?
It's been a while.
Yeah, and I've talked to, I got connected with actually a group that puts on fireworks shows, and talked to them about just pricing and what it would take, because I had no idea. Pretty much it sounds like they do all the work. They have their own liability insurance, all of that stuff. I just wasn't sure, one, if it'd be something the commission would be interested in having us do, and two, if so, what we would need to do on our end in order to do
The
something
last
like
one
that.
that we did up there was they set off on a corner over there, across from the office over there.
Yeah, on the other side where there's nothing going on. Right.
And that was where the fireworks was actually shot off from.
Uh-huh.
And so you really have limited, not too much liability out there with them doing
Right.
it out there. So,
Yeah.
that was just what we did at that time, and I didn't know what the coverage was insurance-wise, but it was, like you said, they're covered themselves.
Right.
Would we still need approval from K-Camp on something like that?
Well, at least want to advise them. And then the only thing that we do, Isaac already hit upon it, if these companies do this regularly, they're aware that they're always asked for general liability coverage. The question is how much, and that is something that we establish. And I can give you averages and that kind of thing from different other public entities that allow them to be done within the jurisdictional limits of a particular governmental entity as to what they oftentimes do. The standard that they use is probably going to be something that they're asked for on a regular basis, so I'm going to expect it. Probably they've got $500,000 or $1 million worth of per occurrence coverage on that stuff.
So she told me they were at $5 million.
I think that's probably going to cover us for these things. And even the charitable groups are usually at that $1 million range. The cheapest I've seen is $500,000. And that was a really small little show, and they had a very constrained environment.
And I think what we'd be looking at would just be like maybe 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something super extravagant or long. It'd just kind of be a thing to go along with the food vendor and the concert that we're looking at possibly putting on that night.
It probably ends up just being an approval that we have, so we have a paper trail that they were authorized on public property to do this. I don't know that we have to have any, I don't know, Tina, unless there's a permitting requirement, that our county clerk will know far better than I, and I'm sure is poised to about tell us now.
Okay, so I believe that we've had fireworks out there in the most recent past, it's been the fire department that has put that on, and they've done it as a fundraiser. The county hasn't specifically done it. I mean, unless they did it years ago, Randy,
No.
that the
no,
county
we
hasn't
just
sponsored
allow
an
them.
event. So generally what we do, if it's a group that's coming in, a special events permit is required.
Okay.
So that's through planning and zoning.
Okay.
And I think it's a $50 fee, and they have to outline where the parking area is, what's happening, et cetera. And we do have to have that liability, and for fireworks, we would want at least $1 million, I believe, in coverage, which sounds like that's not an issue. Now, if it's a county-sponsored event, then you probably still want to work with planning and zoning just to work out details, because then we also coordinate that with the sheriff's department so that they know what's happening, but I don't know that you would charge a fee for that. Or
And-
we would have to pay a fee to ourselves.
And I will say, we spoke to the Marion Fire Department, and from what I understood and what they said was back when they used to do it, they kind of came out, one, to keep an eye on everything, and two, they did the donations. And that was something that because I just asked them if they'd want to come out and do it again. And they did seem like they were very interested in coming out and doing that. And so I planned on that kind of being a part of the deal. They said that they started at the entrance there by the statue when you come to the lake, and then they had planned out parking areas when they did that, and they stayed around those areas as well.
It was a combination of all the fire departments at that time.
Yes.
But when you're specialized now just to one, why, I don't know that unless
I
you
don't-
volunteer to come or something.
Well, and that's it, and I could speak to, I only spoke to them because I wasn't sure what the situation was
Right.
back there, and I figured they might at least be able to shed some light on it for
Get a
me.
hold of the county fire chiefs.
Yeah, yeah.
So what,
Because in the past, they had up all the entrance roads they set up.
Yeah.
So to make donations, and they also worked the crowds, all the local people. They
Yeah.
went house to house asking for money.
Yeah, they make sure they hit that rock house that was over there on the
Yeah.
east side.
I got it both ways.
Yeah, okay.
what, does anybody know what day Peabody's having theirs? Is it also the 3rd?
Fourth.
Or is it the 4th?
It's on the 4th, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the fourth.
It's on
It's
Sunday.
on Sunday.
Okay. What about Ramona?
Normally, if it's a, Tina, I don't know, it's a good day.
I mean,
I
you
would have
can't,
to find out.
I mean, the fireworks everywhere. There's gonna be fireworks out there that the local people put on a
Right.
better show than professional people.
And that was kind of our conversation, is if worse is
They got some
worse.
hellish
and-
fireworks.
And we don't do the fireworks, and we still do the band and the food truck. Like you said, like last year, there was
Oh, yes,
enough
they got
fireworks
big
being
ones.
shot off that you pretty much have a show anyways.
Yeah.
And they
But-
go from nine o'clock to midnight.
Yeah.
Did they
so
give you a cost for a 15-minute show?
They said, they told me $4,000 would cover all of their people, the show, them shooting off, but they said 15-minute show is what that would cover. Pretty much after the 10 to 15 minutes, she said it is about $1,000 a minute, $500 to $1,000 a minute, depending on what you want to
I heard an
do.
article the other night that cost of fireworks is 35 to 40%, gonna be 35 to 40% higher than it was
Yes.
last year.
So and then by the sound of it, they have that flat fee there, which is the $4,000 for the 10 to 15, and then everything after that, you're paying extra, which I wasn't looking to
Who is
do
paying
that.
for this?
Say that again?
Who is paying for this?
So what we're looking at now, and this is all still up for, I guess, negotiation, but what we're looking at is part of that, being that coming from part of our bluegrass, our festival, money, is what we were looking at doing there.
I mean, yes, business for donations too.
Yes, yeah, we have donation boxes and stuff we put up, because as far as revenue for us, this kind of thing, there wouldn't be any, besides donations. It would be a free event, for everybody coming out. That weekend's normally a busy one with campers and all that stuff anyways. So yeah, we would put up some donation boxes, but as far as revenue from the event, it'd be free. But yeah, it would be the 4,000, and that's how we were initially looking at paying for it, if we did the fireworks.
So you could extend it at the last minute if you got $10,000 worth of donations. I mean, you give them a couple days ahead of time. Well, you can
Yeah.
work Main Street, it's
Yes.
doable.
In your free time.
Yeah.
You got on your days off.
So at this point, we just need an approval from the commission for the event and fireworks, is that correct? Is that what we need?
Well, if you want the county
Yeah,
to
it's gonna be
buy
like-
it and put on a show,
Whether
then
we're
yeah.
sponsoring or not.
The county's not sponsoring the,
Well, the responsible party to pay for it would be the county.
Yeah.
Whether we have enough festival money or not,
Right.
we're gonna be the ones paying for it. And so if it requires any park budgeted funds,
Yes.
you know, I mean, we're gonna be paying for it.
Right.
So, I'm not saying one way or
No,
the other,
right.
but just,
Right. We don't
if,
care.
what he's asking for is to sponsor an event.
Does that transient guest tax, would that be available for something like that, since we do other communities?
We do sponsor the other communities for these types of events.
All right, possibly, but then also, are you taking away from any of the other communities by doing an event that we're sponsoring at the same time, potentially, so.
And that's what I did, and that, the Peabody's was one that was brought up, Ramona's was brought up too, and that was kind of one thing I was trying to, we were trying to schedule it so it would not conflict with anything else, because that's not what we're trying to do, but, and I wasn't sure on those. I thought Peabody's was the 4th, I wasn't able to see when Ramona's was.
At least I haven't heard anything being
Okay,
different
and-
than that, but.
Randy, sorry to butt in, isn't Peabody, isn't this their 100th anniversary too or something? I heard
Could be.
something that's supposed to be a pretty
Yeah.
It is.
big deal, so
Yeah.
you know, we would not want to conflict with that.
Yeah.
Right. But that is on the 4th. Looking it up now. But that would also be a good promotion too, to say, hey, especially you got these campers everywhere.
Yeah.
Say, hey, before you head out in Marion County, why don't you take a stop at Peabody and see something?
Yeah.
I guess I would make the motion to approve the sponsorship of the dance and fireworks on July 3rd at the Marion County Lake.
Enter a cruise goes along with it.
Yes, yeah, there's a cruise that goes along with that as
Is
well.
any of that?
Yes.
what?
It's a car cruise.
Car cruise.
Old cars,
Oh.
well,
I think they're going through Hillsborough too.
I don't know.
They're
Sometimes
driving through the county, they just wanted to
Hillsboro's
bring them out.
similar to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. that'd be good.
Ramona's, at least the notation up here, the Rotary Club fireworks shows the 4th.
Good.
But it looks like, yeah, it still says the 4th on everything, so.
I'd second that.
I have a motion by Dave, second by Kent Becker, to Marion County to sort of back the county lake out here with a promotional, what, celebration? Is that what your whole deal is
Yes.
celebration?
Yeah.
the day of fun and festivities.
Day of festivities. Everybody in favor of it, say aye. Aye, 5-0.
And if you're gonna use that to promote the other communities, you could definitely use transient guest tax. If the promotion of those other communities would be a prominent
Brought in,
thing.
yeah.
And it is an event for tourism, so I think it would probably fall under those statutes.
Good thing you used it all.
Well, it's nice to get 2 for it.
Right now, it's not designated for that. We'll have to bring that back up and see whether we pay for half, or whether we pay for it all, or what we want to do there, so.
I'd suggest stay consistent with what we're doing in other communities, $1,000.
$1,000, okay, yeah, that might be a good thing.
So we need an action on that too?
No.
No, okay.
Now, is that the?
That way we're discretionary.
Well, I guess perhaps you would want to make a separate approval for that, because technically the county lake is not an organized
Right.
community, so.
So they're not exempt. They'd be exempt from the $1,000.
All due respect to Byron.
Okay, let me run this by our council. How about if we propose to amend our transit guest tax policy to include not only communities in Marion County, but include Marion County Lake as one of those entities?
You could do that.
That's my motion too. Brad can help me right.
We'll figure that out.
Right, but we've made the policy that each community is allowed up to 1,000 per calendar year. We're including Marion County Lake as
Part of the community.
one of those communities eligible for $1,000.
So what happens if the China Chat and Dine, which I don't even know if they're there, but I'm just saying, another organization out there says, well, where's our 1,000?
They have to come in and be approved.
Okay.
Because right now you've defined it, initially it was just all municipalities, and that's got its own statutory definition.
Right.
Now you've added to it with
Right.
another community,
Right.
Which we'll probably need to define a little bit, we'll take care of that. But then they would, anyone else would have to come in and be recognized as an entity.
Are the others recognized as an incorporated community?
Municipal corporations by definition, yeah.
And so then you're throwing one in that isn't.
Right, you are.
That's why I'm.
Are they all incorporated?
So what else, what opens up a
Well-
bag of worms in?
Yeah.
Who's
Ramona
not?
is, it's got a mayor.
I mean,
Yeah, there's nobody who isn't right now.
I mean, you're gonna
Elmo's the
have,
closest one I can think of this other.
if you do that, you're gonna open it up to other groups like, well, I know Santa Fe Trail's got a 150-year deal coming up. Chisholm Trail has.
Those
100
can also be considered county events.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so could this, I mean, because you can use the transient guest
Yep.
tax for events in the county already.
To promote tourism.
It's just not an automatic approval.
I'd like to stay
So
away
maybe we need
somehow.
to take incorporated community out of the policy. Marion County events.
All right, I'll withdraw my motion.
I
I'm trying to make it simple, but you're right, there's things I don't think
I
of.
wasn't trying to.
I know, there's some things I don't think of. So what I will do is just ask a one-time request that $1,000 be used from the transient guest tax for the July 3rd event at the Marion County Lake.
I'd second
It's a
that.
one-time event.
I'd second that.
That way we're consistent with our policy. If any other groups want to come in, they have to come
Yeah.
in separate.
It'd be
The
one
one time.
Yep,
Otherwise, you
tried
could
to
change
make it
the
easy.
policy.
Have a motion by Dave, second by me, Randy Dolke, to approve of a one-time event of $1,000 out of the transient guest tax to be used for 4th of July out of County Lake. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
You only got 3,000 to go.
Just gonna have to stop over that WV. Or
I
WA.
thought we'd start with the 5 commissioners.
Well, you got a hat.
I got $1. I got $1.
That one right over there.
See if we can look in later. That's right,
We got
Isaac,
It's gonna happen tonight.
Isaac, I think I can get you to bankroll.
Yeah.
To be honest.
You've got quite a bit of stuff to go with Isaac yet.
You want to vote yes or
I have one more thing, and then my last thing will probably be an executive session thing.
We have at 2:20, we had Randy on, and did you say he has his attorney here with us?
I think so.
Okay.
I could come back.
No, I just didn't know if you wanted, because you have a 3 o'clock that's a set time.
Yeah.
And if you end up running short, then that leaves Randy just kind of sitting and waiting. So if you want me to see if we can move him a little bit later after
Oh,
your
yeah,
3 o'clock.
Move him to 2:40,
Okay,
45, yeah,
okay.
45. See if you
All
can do
right.
that.
Yeah, I can.
After the 3 o'clock.
I would say after the 3, don't you think?
You wanna go after 3? Okay.
So
There's
I
anything else
think
to
that
do.
we're allowing 30 minutes for that 3 o'clock.
Okay, 3:30 then? Okay, 3:30.
Probably be safe.
That way we'll just scratch that one out.
We got a motion executive with it.
All right, this might be a long one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my next thing I have here is I never been asked this before. I was approached by a guy here last week. He is a Marion County resident about renting a pontoon boat on the lake. He'd pretty much pay on the weekends. He'd pay to have it publicly docked at our public dock, and then he wants to rent it out. I told him I was not gonna say anything until I talked to the board about this. Because if it's a yes, it brings up multiple questions. I didn't have any idea about what the liability is on something like that.
It's his boat, isn't it?
Well, wait a minute now, there's things that I don't know about. Let's take the duck boat in Missouri. And then, well, this can happen, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
We get a party and we're gonna throw 30 people on it, and are we prepared to handle it?
Right.
But yet, Randy Dalkey could have a party boat out there and 30 people could be on it, and then it'd be all Randy Dalkey's problem. This is something to be, I'm dead serious about it.
There's a big liability issue.
I don't know who's getting sued for that deal down there. But yet, I think when we allow somebody to rent them out, I think we're probably gonna entitle ourselves to be sued. I don't know.
Is that what he's asking, Isaac?
Yeah.
He's wanting to place one there with our blessing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
So
Who's renting it? You or him?
Not be me.
Okay.
It would be.
So it's a private enterprise renting it?
Right, but
And can you
he's wanting to
appro-
keep it on the water, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
If he would rent it
For
on the
also
shore,
for a,
outside of
for-profit
Lakeshore
motive.
Drive, and they would trailer it in on their own,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah, and that's what he originally came to propose to me, was like, let's say he brought it out on a Thursday. We have a public dock right there by the boat ramp. There's this couple of slips, it's $10, 24 hours to keep it on there. He would keep it on there over the weekend and rent it out for the day. And then at the end of the weekend or whatever, his plan would be to pull it out and maybe next weekend or whatever. He made it seem like, depending on how it goes, he was looking at doing just weekends or maybe just even like holiday weekends. But, then I guess the question goes is because you have Marion County Lake permits and then you have non-county free fishing boats. How would you run that? Because
we create a nexus with the public dock. And when we do that, he's doing this as a commercial enterprise for profit, I presume. The minute he does that, we have a problem, period.
Right.
Because the public dock is not meant for that purpose, and we don't promote that because it's the same kind of issue we get into in a number of other settings where we've had people say, okay, well, if you guys are gonna have a bait shop, for example, you're competing with.
Right.
And there's certain times we can do that, but this really probably crosses a line I'm not comfortable with.
So he could run it off a private dock?
Yep. Anytime he wants, that kind of commercial enterprise is up to him. But when he asks us to go to that public dock and utilize it for that, we're walking people on the public dock to get onto his private vessel for a commercially for-profit entity doing something. There I got problems.
Any dock out there, though, would be public.
Yes and no. This one is absolutely declared as such. The other private docks, we have some ability to utilize, and we've got that arrangement made, but again, if it came to that, they would have a private agreement between themselves and the owner of that dock. And I'm a lot happier with that than I am with this.
Right.
Not trying to frustrate its purpose. I think it's great to offer services out there and have people enjoy themselves. I just don't want us involved in it.
Right. Well, and I didn't want to be involved in it. Like you said.
Here's what you said, Isaac. You just said we have, due to the lake being open for boat permits, where Central County boats can come up and go fishing, right?
Yep.
Right.
Under 5 miles an hour.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I guess that's where kind of, if it were to go towards the yes, what would be the best way to handle that? Because he's a Marion County resident, so technically he'd be.
His boat's registered here.
Yeah, his boat is registered here, so that would open that up to, he'd be able to get the permit for that boat. But then if he's renting it out, does it stay that way? I don't know.
It's a question of the wildlife and parks licensing.
We got a number.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues there.
A lot more than just a simple, oh yeah, that'd be fine.
Nothing simple anymore.
I don't think I'd be in favor of anything like that.
If I could cover all the ends and make sure the county was covered in all ways, and, but yet I still see something stupid going on.
I don't really want to stifle anybody from trying to do something that improves things, but you don't want to open Pandora's box either, so.
What if
Said
you-
he
what
can-
if
he
you
can
had
do it.
a-
He just needs to use private dock. He can do whatever he wants.
What if you have a vendor that just has a boat rental and you don't know, I mean, they're renting it from who knows where and they just bring in the rented boat onto the lake? I guess they would have to be a Marion County resident to be able to do that at this point. And we wouldn't care if they had a rented boat or they owned their own.
Well, and they could bring in a rented boat, and if it wasn't registered in Marion County, they could still put it on the lake, but they just have to stay under that wake speed during the set hours. But that boat would be registered in Marion County, and I guess that's kind of where
So,
your question
basically, it
came up.
just complicated everything by informing us.
I'm not so sure that there's probably not somebody who lets their boat be either used or rented or
Right.
something out there, no matter what.
Oh, I know, but,
We used to rent canoes, didn't we?
yep.
Still do.
But I mean, is that addressed under our liability?
So we don't have them anymore, but they were the Boy Scouts canoes.
Right.
And as.
You just collected the money for them.
Yeah, and
For
that,
the Boy
yeah, that's
Scouts.
it. We collected the money for them and then give back.
And a not-for-profit was involved. But now has a lot of
He was
liability.
the go-between.
Yeah.
Do I hear any kind of decision here that most likely we're not in favor?
I'm not.
Not in favor. Not.
I guess the other thing you could do with him, if you want, is to investigate this fully, is let him put it in a form of a proposal. He needs to contact the state, because there are several agencies I can think of who are gonna have an interest of him going on a body of water that's regulated in some way, shape, or form by the state. Brings that to us, and then I will be happy to research it exhaustively for him in terms of our liability. My initial response, I'll tell you, is not one of enthusiasm, because I just see the potential for problems. But if we could set up a way that we don't run into that for-profit on a public dock element of it, or liability, okay. But I just, at this moment, what he's prepared to offer up, I don't think we can do. You just have to, he'd have to think that through a bit more. So.
Okay, I think, is that a fair enough answer for right now?
That is a fair enough answer for right now, yes. And now I request to go in executive session and discuss contract negotiations with the board, Brad and Tina.
For approximately how long do you think?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. I'd move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. For number two, consultation with our attorney in matters of deemed privilege under our attorney-client privilege. Contract with the board, Isaac and Brad and Tina. For 10 minutes from 2:35 to 2:45.
Talk to you later.
Second by Jonah.
Good to see you, gentlemen.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, back at 2:45.
Here, what? We're gonna go back in for another 10 probably.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah.
Get some more sprinklers, chrome space heaters and just stand around those.
Out of executive session, no decisions. Would like to make a motion to go right back in for 10 more minutes till 2:57. Yeah, till 2:57.
Sorry, I believe you have to actually state the full motion.
Okay.
And repeat it.
Sorry about that.
Hold your right hand.
I move that we recess back into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B for consultation with our attorney in matters deemed privileged under attorney-client privilege. With the board, Isaac, Brad, and Tina for 10 more minutes, which will be from 2:47 till 2:57.
Second.
Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed, 5-0.
Okay, we'll be back at 2:57.
I scribbled some, sorry, but hopefully we'll read through that.
No, that's good.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Out of executive session, I move to approve the design build project manager at risk for completion of the heated dock and terminate prior construction contract on the heated dock, subject to liability claims as they accrue. That is my motion. Do I hear a second? Second by Dave Mueller. I'll ask you individually how you vote. Commissioner Dahlke, yay. Commissioner Gehring?
Yay.
Commissioner Becker?
Yay.
Commissioner Crowfoot?
Yes.
Commissioner Mueller?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, we have 5-0. And this will be a memorandum of understanding with Cody Nelson to get some contact with him and go from there and on what he can propose to us. Okay. Isaac, what else do you have?
That is it.
Okay.
That's enough.
He does now have this retail store open.
Yes.
Everything but minerals.
And so everything is stocked. The only thing that I have not done yet is got bait. I'm still waiting for my live bait application to come back from the state. I've called them last week. It's supposed to, he said it was hopefully gonna come through this week. I still have not received it, but as soon as I receive that, I am ready to purchase that bait, but I have not yet. But besides that, tackle, food, the new point of sale system's up and running. So we are doing that.
Is it friendly?
Huh?
Is it point of sale friendly?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your last four numbers of your cell phone is 3710 still?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Dear. That on social media.
Just saying, what it is. So,
Yeah. Need a lot of local involvement as far as.
Handful as of now. Trying to get the word out that we're looking for more.
Okay.
But we have 4 or 5 right now.
Okay. Isaac, thank you.
Hey, thank you guys.
3 o'clock, we're gonna move to attorney-client pending litigated matter. This is with Kevin Case, our attorney for K-Camp. It will go into an executive session into Zoom. Yes, we will have a Zoom meeting with him. We will go to another thing, but this is our attorney for K-Camp on a litigated matter. So it is not illegal. It's a matter with meeting with our K-Camp's attorney. So I will.
K-Camp represents the county commission.
Yes. Yes.
And no other client.
Well, K-Camp has all kinds of clients, but this is a matter concerning Marion County.
Okay. There's
Yes.
no possibility that they could be representing K-Camp's interests rather than the county's interests.
No, this is over litigated matter.
There is a binding attorney-client privilege. You cannot reveal a conversation to anyone outside of this group.
What's for him to answer?
He probably can't hear what you're saying. So, hi, Kevin. Can you hear us?
Could we have Eric?
I can hear you fine.
Eric
Okay.
ask his questions up here?
So there is
No, speak in
a
the
member of the
microphone.
press that has a question about the executive session here. and the protected nature.
Kevin, we're questioning whether the attorney-client privilege exists in that you are not able to reveal the subject of this meeting to anyone other than the people who you will be meeting with. Is that correct?
Is that a question to me? If so, I couldn't hear it.
You can take your back up if you want to, Eric.
The question is whether this is your sole client and you are bound by attorney-client privilege with these people so that you cannot reveal what is said here to anyone, any other entity or any other company or any other thing that might be involved. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm giving legal advice to my client, the Board of County Commissioners, in a representative capacity.
Okay, so you're not represented, there's no other parties involved in this, just you and the county commission.
Well, it's a litigated matter, so there is a plaintiff, there is a defendant. I represent the defendant, the Board of County Commissioners.
Marion County.
Okay.
All right, so with that, I move that we recess. Kevin, how long do you need for this?
No more than 30 minutes. It probably won't even take that amount of time.
You want to go for 20 to start with?
Let's do it.
Okay, 20 minutes. I move that we recess in executive session in order to discuss matters of litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. For number 2, consultation with our attorney in matters deemed privileged under attorney-client privilege with the board, Brad, Tina, and Kevin for 20 minutes. And the open set, that time frame will be from 3:06 to 3:26. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kent Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay, we're gonna close this meeting, and then, Mr. Case, if you would join us in the executive session meeting,
I'll go right there right now.
Thank you.
What was that about?
Can't just rolls out.
This conference will now be recorded.
All righty, out of executive sessions, no decisions. And we'll move on here to sort of a reminder of the agenda here. We have Randy Frank scheduled at 3:30.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get Randy here. We'll get start with him at 3:30. Then we'll have.
I think Brad had asked for a 5-minute executive session prior to that for
Okay.
personnel
Yes,
performance.
Yes, you have. That's right. We're back up here, yeah.
Maybe, and actually, as I rethought that, it may require 10 questions that probably be
Okay.
asked.
So we will take, we'll make a motion to go in executive session. This personnel.
It is.
For 10 minutes, Brad?
Please.
Okay. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. For number 1, personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board and Brad. Tina?
Certainly, Tina can go in, she wishes.
Yes. And this will be from 3:30 till 3:40. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. This is the most I've ever had to do today.
Okay, back at 3:40.
I got it.
I can go.
Okay.
As soon as I get this up and running.
This conference will now be recorded.
Out of executive sessions, no decisions. We'll move right on, and Randy Frank's next up on the list. Emergency management.
Yeah, maybe.
This is not raining.
Here.
It doesn't mean it's not raining, whatever.
That was across the street.
Yes, we're here to, would you like to go in executive session, Randy? Give us,
I think it's appropriate that we do so.
is that your wishes too?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Make a motion, I move we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board, Brad and Tina, for 10
Wait.
minutes.
You said me, but you didn't say Randy.
And Randy, yes. Randy, yes, yes, Randy and you. That's my motion.
Second.
It'll be from 3:40, let's go 3:48, 3:44, yeah, 3:44 to 10 minutes, 3:54. Everybody in favor, second by Jonah, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Just a moment.
That was a coin spinning.
Is that what that
at
was?
the end?
It wasn't though.
This conference will now be recorded.
Of executive session, I have one question, Randy. Would you like a session to go over the agreements or anything?
Stuff that was handed to him.
Yeah, the stuff that you received already, I mean, with the board, would you like to have a session with us?
Yeah, we definitely do that. Yes, we could do that.
I mean, will it help you is what I'm asking to go over.
We can do that.
Can you do it now?
No, if we can do it next week, that would be fine. On Tuesday, when you come back in the session.
Right now, I don't believe you have a meeting scheduled on Tuesday. You have that Road and Bridge work session that you just put on.
Yeah. Can't stop
Are
me
you-
here.
I mean, we
No,
have.
I'll hear Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay.
Wait a second, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I know what
The
day.
day
we're
after
on.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be the
because
first.
today's the 24th, so it would be the 1st, and we didn't have because you have payday on the 28th, you didn't have a meeting scheduled. So this morning, you scheduled a Road and Bridge work session at 12:30 on that day,
On 28th?
on the 1st?
Yes. First, the first. June the
If we need to change it to where you have a regular meeting at regular time on that Tuesday and do the Road and Bridge in the morning, or do something else, we could probably do that.
Otherwise, we'll just have a regular meeting.
But.
What time is that? 12:30?
That's what you said earlier today.
Yep, 12:30. Okay. We'll work that out next week, try to get something lined up for June the first.
You work it out this week.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do something this week.
Between now and Friday.
Yeah, that's right. We don't have no more time today.
We got a meeting Friday.
Oh, okay, June 1st, okay. June 1st, sorry.
Still planning on
It might be here.
Right.
I can't be, I was just looking.
We mumbled.
My last commitments in Newton is at 11:30. I'd probably be through before noon, so I might not be right at 12:30, but pretty doggone close. And I don't have anything again until Harrington that evening, 5:30, so I can be here till 4:30.
Okay. We'll try meeting with you at 12:30 the first, Randy? See if we can put that on the agenda, and see if we can get that on there.
Okay, I just want to ask for clarification. Are we having a regular meeting then on
Regular
that day?
meeting.
I think we need to have a regular meeting.
Yeah, if we're
Okay.
gonna include something like this, we need to have a regular meeting.
So regular meeting, and then, are you wanting to include a road and bridge work session
After
in that afternoon?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, after that.
Well, it's not on.
Be two different
we should
meetings.
move To set that as a regular meeting due
Okay.
to the holiday. Just a motion to set it for that day
Okay.
due to the holiday, that you're gonna have a regular meeting on.
Yep. that'll be
First.
there. I make a motion that we have a regular meeting on June 1st, 12:30, and then right after that, we'll have a work session with Road and Bridge. We gotta announce that we're changing that date, right?
That's what I'm wanting to do.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
And I don't believe you ever announced anything out of the
Out of
executive
executive
session?
session, no, nothing.
Thank you.
No action taken.
No action taken. Okay, what do we got left here? Let's cross off some.
We can have that one executive for some of the personal matter.
Right, I had asked for a short executive session for personnel
Yes.
performance.
Yes, for Tina.
I think 5 minutes is.
5 minutes?
Yes,
I can't put that on yet.
and that's for non-elected personnel.
Could probably do it from memory by now. don't you?
No, I don't, I'm reading. I'm not trying to memorize yet. Personnel performance, right, Tina?
Yes.
I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-431-9B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board, Brad and Tina, for 5 minutes. That will be from 4:05 to 4:10.
Second.
Second by David Wheeler. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
This conference will now be recorded.
Out of executive session, no decisions. We're finally able to wind down today. We do have public comments left, and I think there is one that maybe Tina's captured from the public on the screen.
Yeah, it was entered earlier. And this was from someone calling themselves Brian Jones. I'm gonna put that on here. And it basically just said, this is for the upcoming public comment. I think taxpayers should be enlightened with more detail than just pending litigated matter when involving attorneys such as Mr. Case. Information pertaining to exactly what the matter may consist of should be given during open session for all taxpayers' benefit. This is especially concerning and essential if tax dollars are finding, I think that's supposed to be funding, county litigation. That was the comment.
Okay, that's one. Do we, no other ones up there?
No.
Mr. Brian Jones, if you're listening, would you, you're not
Not there.
listening? Not there, okay.
There's a Bob there.
I'd just like to hear a voice sometime. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But, next is no other public in the meeting unless, well, Phyllis is working. It's good to see you here, Phyllis.
He broke the
Thank
fourth
you.
wall. He broke the fourth wall.
Uh-huh.
Broke the fourth wall.
So, we'll go to commission comments. Do we have any today?
If we could just clarify our schedule, so
Okay.
we have payday meeting Friday,
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
28th?
At 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock. And then we're having regular meeting on June 1st, next Tuesday, 12:30.
12:30, yes.
And then a work session following
Yes.
Just follows right behind it.
Payday meeting, we may,
We're just
that. Is
gonna.
there any other agenda items, or I guess that would be?
is there anything, other thing we're gonna put on payday meeting Friday?
Well, I think that if possibly admin, and I don't know if you want a personnel executive session on that day, if I can arrange it, and
Okay.
if not, then it'll be on
Okay.
the 1st.
I won't be here Friday.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is it gonna be like the last time you
With
said?
that being said.
Who knows?
Going once, do we have any more comments?
As of today, no.
No other comments, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Every day's a new adventure.
Who's second?
Motion to second by Jonah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, bravo.
All right. What's the KCCA? What's that cost us?
I'll have to look at that.